Okay, so here we have the FoMaKo KC601 Pro video switcher, mixer, and live streamer all in one. Amazing little product, and we're just going to go through all the different features, starting right from the ports here. This one is a 1, 2, 3, 4 HDMI inputs. It also comes with audio inputs, XLR 1, 2, mic or line in, 1 and 2, and then output for your headphones. It also comes with the live streaming USB port, which is the top one, the one in blue, and one on the bottom for high bitrate video recording. We will be testing all of this out. The biggest feature, the biggest reason why I went ahead with this one as opposed to the others was that this one has 2 HDMI ports, one for program out and one for the multi-view out. So in all the others that I looked at, I'm not going to take any names, but you could only program them, you could only set them to have either program or the multi-view output. And in my opinion, that was just a big drawback that I could not live with. It also has a barrel connector with a nice little nut on top that will secure it properly so that it doesn't come loose. Also comes with, this is USB-C. You can power it through here as well. I have tried that and it works. This port is also required if you're doing any firmware updates on the FoMaKo. This along with this, everything comes in the box. Let's go ahead and hook this device up and see how that looks. Okay, so I have just plugged in all the connections that I will be using. The power is here. I'm using, I didn't hook up all 4. I hooked up HDMI 1, 3 and 4. So one main camera, which is covering this this angle here, the one that you're seeing, and then one angle from the webcam, and then a third angle just from my PC output. So I'm just powering it on for you right now, and it goes through all the little different screens here before it shows up. Okay, and then there we're seeing all the inputs. I did also plug in the USB port with an SD card reader and an SD card, so that's where I'll be recording this. So very straightforward. You have a volume button, focus, zoom over here, and that is something that, well, let me just start the recording here. Okay, so that's recording. So that's what you would use in case you were using a PTZ camera. Then this is the volume button. Basically, you will decide, this will decide whether your audio that you're doing is coming from a mix, or if it's coming from the source that you're connected to, which is AFV, which stands for audio follows the video. Then you have the PTZ control button, the load and save button, layers A and B. Then you have the very nice T-bar over here. Then you have the auto transition button, which is in case there was a second source selected over there, which, let's just say I can make this, and if I press the auto, this will fade to whichever transition I have selected. Same thing that I can do with the T-bar, very simple and straightforward. All of these buttons here in the bottom, let's just switch that. So all these buttons here in the middle row are for program source select, which means if I press any of these buttons directly, as you can see right up on top in this window over here, they will cut to that source directly. So that is your program source select. The buttons at the bottom, all of these are your preview source select, or known as PST. And then you have the menu button right here. So basically, just to, in case you want to properly crossfade or apply any of the other available transitions to the video that's coming up, you would first load that video. So right now here we have me loaded in the preview. If I hit the auto button, then that's what starts to show up on the screen. And let's say if I change this to my other source, which is coming from the desktop computer, just the lock screen, so I can load these to the preview and then transition to them. So every time you want to use any of the transitions, you have to go through that way. Otherwise, if you just want to cut directly to the scene, you can just use these buttons right over here as well, which are the program select. Very important differentiation. That then you also have the crop and tilt. So all of these are, this one is also a push button. All three of them are push buttons as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the audio first of all. So I'm basically running through this mixer as if you've just taken it out of the box and you're ready to start streaming. So the most important thing for me next would be the audio, because I want to always make sure that I'm getting the right audio into my output here, whether I'm recording it or whether I'm streaming it. And the way I would do that is, switch the source again. So the way we would do that is if you have to press and hold this button in order for it to change modes. So exactly what that does here is it says if you long press and hold the AVF or mix button to activate the AFV mode and light it up red. So this is basically taking up whatever source is selected right now. Whatever source is selected, it's gonna pick that up. So if I have right now, this is on, I have number 3, my HDMI 3, and that's why it's taking the audio of HDMI 3. If I switch this to 2, and you see how it jumped over to channel 2, because it's now taking the audio from my HDMI 2, which is my webcam right now, the one that I'm talking to you through. So that's what AFV does. I would not usually be using this mode. Whenever I'm recording, I would try that all my audio is going through one dedicated source, and that I treat as my master. So in order to set it to the other mode, we would basically press and hold down the sound button again, and once it switches to white, so now I can select which of the sources I want the audio to be coming from. So in this case, even though, so it's set to 3 right now, because the HDMI 3 is the camera showing the mixer, I can actually turn this off and have the audio coming in from the webcam, which is, you can see the levels start to jump up and down. That's another way you can quickly tell if you're getting audio or not from the sound source that you've selected. Very good. Okay, so while we're on the topic of audio, so the next thing that I want to quickly mention here is how you can adjust individual volume for the channels that are you're using versus the master out that you'll be giving out. So if you want to just adjust the volume of the source that's coming in, for example in this case it's channel 2, you would hold down the control button, channel 2, and then you rotate the knob. And I don't know how well you can see here, but it's very tiny on the screen. It says channel 2 volume, and it's going up and down right in the middle of the screen here. Otherwise, if you're not pressing and holding any of the buttons down, and if you just rotate this button right here, this would only affect the master volume out that you're sending out from the mixer. Okay, so one of the biggest, other biggest features of this unit is that it has about 30 different special effects right in the menus built in. So that's pretty neat here. If I switch to, when we go from, okay, so when we go from one scene to the next, then the T-bar is basically deciding the transition. Now you can change the transition. And there's a very simple way to do this. Just need to hold down, let me just switch this back. So you need to hold down the menu button and the number 4 here, and then that allows you to roam around and select which transition you want to set. So let's say if I want to select this guy right here, and then whoosh, there we go. Simple as that. and then you can switch around amongst any other. So let's go with this one. You can just keep turning the knob here as I'm doing, and just keep switching between the two. Again, as I had mentioned earlier, you can still use the auto button, and that will rely on whatever transition you have programmed in the menu here, and it switches right to that. It looks pretty neat, and it has about 30 effects to choose from. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so this one looks, yeah, so you could do, which many others have also shown, you can do like a split screen in case this was pointing towards, in case you were pointing this towards two hosts, you could do like a split screen by just leaving the T-bar somewhere in the middle. Very neat indeed. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at will be the detailed menu system. Hopefully you can see this correctly in the screen. And so the first thing here it says is talks about the HDMI, and we have the options here to let's see, HDMI 1 it's showing you is connected, HDMI 2 is connected, HDMI 3 is connected at 59.9, HDMI 4 has nothing, all in is HDMI. Output settings. Okay, so what do you want to do with your HDMI out selection? Should it be set to program or preview select? I like to keep that at, again, it depends. You can have that set to preview if you're going to be sending out your program through USB, which is what I have set. Otherwise you can do vice versa. It really depends on how you what your setup is and what you're using this for. To go back one step in the menu, you would just hit the menu key. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at in the menu is the layer system, and this is basically another way of saying picture in picture mode. So now let's say, for example, so right now you can only see the mixer that's showing up. So what I can do is, if I bring the mixer up by pressing 3 there, and then I can add myself when I press A, and then obviously you can, I mean, I can move this around all the way to the right, and let's say we'll just go down. Yep, okay, perfect. So I can move this there, and okay, so now you can see me basically as an inset. So that's the picture in picture mode, also known as what we're using here as layers. So there's two layers. One is layer A and layer B. In our case here, the layer B is the one that's in the background, and the layer A is the one in front. You can very easily switch back and forth if you want to switch. So for example, what I'm going to do now is I can remove myself from here and change that to my HDMI 1 source, which is the computer. And in order to do that, if I go back there and then I press the number 1 here, you see that that jumped over onto there, and there we go. So now now we're just seeing that fancy. And if I press the 1, 2, 3, 4, the program buttons here, we can still switch between the backgrounds and the layer that's on the front. The layer A is the one that's still sitting in front. So let me just switch back, and there we go. We can just turn off the layer 1 like that. That was the easiest way to take a look at the layers. And then now the next thing in the menus is we have the picture setting. So picture setting, you can import up to 16 pictures. BK1 assigns the picture of BK1 from the picture tool, and BK2 you can assign the picture to BK2. So when I'm cycling between all these different modes here, you can see how it's changing on the right hand side. These are all the different looks like we have about 11 in there right now. Same thing, if you want to change it for BK1, you can do that here. And as I just mentioned, you can also add your own pictures here to load and show or keep them in the background. So I guess what they're trying to say here is that, so these can be used as your backgrounds for your chroma key. Again, I do not have, unfortunately, I do not have a green screen to test this with, but in case you do have a green screen, you can, this is where you would set your backgrounds. If you're sitting in front of a green screen right now, and this is what would appear, the BK1 or the BK2 is what would appear. Okay, the next thing is the logo setting. So I don't have a logo on here right now. Logo1.jpg, it's picking that up from its inbuilt memory. I will try to load in my logo to see how that looks. So audio, we had already taken a look at audio channel. So here basically this is another way of going into the menu if you want to be 100% sure and to make sure that you've selected the right channel. Like if I can still just turn this off by hitting the number 2, or you can just turn it off from here and turn on a different source. Very simple. So this already been covered actually. Volume, input volume. So the same thing, the shortcut I had showed you earlier was if you want to hold down control and then press the channel that you want to up, lower, or increase the volume for. If you don't want to do that, there's always a way you can go into the menu and do that manually. Output volume and monitoring are separate. So here is another very important feature that not many of these tools have, and that is the input delay. So it's nobody's fault, but every now and then if you do decide to put your audio directly into the mixer via line N1 or mic in, and if you notice that the video is not in sync with the audio, you can come into the menu here and then set the audio delay for aux 1 or 2. A very useful feature to have right there. Mic setting. Okay, so this will let you decide what kind of audio levels you're putting in to all of the ports. So you can decide that here. This is for the 3.5 mm jack. One set to mic in, other one is set to line in. The XLR combo is set to balanced mono, both of them actually, and then XLR mode is mono copy, noise gate is off. What's the other option here? To turn it on. Okay, next thing is audio monitor should be the master, or should it be from any of your connected sources? I am going to leave that on master. Equalizer, just like the name suggests, we're not going to get into it. Okay, so there is a lot to be covered in the advanced section of this menu, but as I mentioned, the perspective that I want to give about this mixer is that you've just got this, you've bought it, or you're thinking about buying it, and the top 5 things that you need to know in order to be up and running and get going with it. So for the most part, the basics have been covered, and you know how to connect your cameras, you know how to start recording or stop recording. You know how to toggle your audio sources. Now we're going to take a look at some of the bigger features of this little box, which is you know, the recording and the streaming. The biggest feature. So when I bought this unit, this was not advertised, but it was it came out in a later firmware update that you could stream directly from this little unit, which is what makes it amazing. So the next thing, that's what we're going to take a look at, how to access the console settings, and also to enable or do a firmware update to unlock these different options for you. So if I go under menu here and you go under advanced, we're going to skip the PTZ chroma transition scenes part. So under record, set the data rate to high, which is already set by default. Enable means enable means that it is recording right now, and I don't know if you can see this tiny little record button over there, and you can toggle that on and off by pressing and holding down the menu key and pressing the record at the same time. That'll turn the recording on or off. And then this is where it's showing me the storage. Right now I have a 64 gig memory card and a card reader connected to this unit, so that's what we're recording this on live, and I still have a lot of space to go. It says recording duration. It's been recording for about 38 minutes now. Obviously, the final video that you're seeing will be edited and will be a smaller duration. And this is the biggest deal right here, the stream option. If you go into the stream option, so the first thing we see here is the stream server. Set the data rate. Start streaming. So right now, even if I try to do this, this is not going to work because it's not connected to the internet. You do need to have a network cable connected to this device. You need to have a valid IP address and a few other things, which we'll show you shortly. Connect status. It says no connect, otherwise it would have said, I believe it says internet when it is connected. Stream duration says 0, stream bitrate says 0. And then if I go back out, the last thing here says system network setting. So console IP, stream IP, PTZ IP list. This is where you will see all your different IP addresses. This is kind of important, and I'll show you that in a second, because you need to know exactly what IP address you're going to use to access the web server from a computer in order to configure your servers. Time settings, operating settings, date info, factory reset. So that's just all self-explanatory. We're not going to get into this. So the next thing we're going to check out is the live stream part. Okay, so I have just connected my internet cable to this FoMaKo box here. So now let's go back into the menu. Let's see how long it takes for it to start to recognize it. I'm gonna go under advanced and stream, and right now it says connection status no connect. Okay, so finally now, so you see once we started getting the IP address over there, it says in the stream section we see the connection status does say internet. Now under the stream server, okay, so I already have a couple configured, but I'll show you how to do this. Okay, so here I am recording my screen, and in order for us to access the live stream function, I need to put in, let's see here, I need to put in actually my, so I will not be, if I put in the console IP, which is this guy, 192.168.5.172, I will not get anything. So what needs to happen is I actually need the IP address, the stream IP address, which is for, there we go. So like it didn't auto-populate. I don't know why. I just had to press the button here in order for it to change. So now that I have this, so if I go back, this is what you need. You need to use the stream IP address, and that's what you will put into your web browser. And lo and behold, it opens up. The username and password are already pre-populated. When you hit login, you will reach the screen. So let me just delete. Basically, this is where you can go in and put in your, you can select your bitrate for what you'll be streaming at, or you can also click on create streaming address. You can give it any name. So let's say if you stream to YouTube, you can just put in the name YouTube. I'm just going to put in a GS dash, just so that will help me differentiate and find out which one of my channels this is going to. And then you can get the RTMP address by going to your, okay, so the way you would do this is, so this is the key, and then this is your stream URL. So you would copy the stream URL here, and then you would take the key and you would paste it here. Yeah, you see, it starts to show, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, so once you do and you hit confirm, it basically starts to show up right here. So now this is actually a good test. So everything is in there already. So if I now on my switcher here, if I say that I'm gonna, the shortcut to this is the menu key and the on air. So if I go, let's get out of the menu here, hold down this and that, and then it says start streaming. So you should see now, so on the computer in a moment or so, it should start showing my picture. So that now you're seeing directly coming from the switcher. And if I switch to my webcam on the switcher, obviously it's going to be like a 15-second delay, but then you will see it switch over to the webcam as well. So that is how you can stream directly from your FoMaKo switcher. It's a very fancy feature to have. And then to turn the stream off, if I want to, I would just go back here and switch to, so I would just hold down the menu and the on air button again, and then that should stop the stream. It'll take, and immediately on the screen you can see that it changed to no data. That is how you stream to YouTube from this wonderful little device. So another thing I want to mention here is that even if you have a computer connected to your console, you can actually go on air right from here. So you can, if you press the on air button over here, and then you can see on the right hand side the bitrate starts and the durations just started. So this is another way you can go on air. You can have I believe up to 3, and you can stream to all 3 at the same time directly from your console. You don't have to do that. You can use a service like Restream or something. You can only have it going to one server and then redistribute it from there. But if you want to be in more control, if you want to send it to 2 destinations just as a backup, then you can definitely do that directly through the box itself. So it's an amazing feature. If you look at the price point for how much this thing costs, it really comes with a lot of fancy, neat features for you to cover. Okay, so the last thing we're going to take a look at is how to do a firmware update on your computers, on your FoMaKo device. You need to be on the correct firmware version. So right now I am on the MCU version 4.05, the FPGA version 5.0.7, and the SoC version 1.42. That's the software version I am on, that you need to be on in order to be able to have access to that live stream function. So now I'm going to unplug, because you have to basically follow the instructions. You have to unplug everything in order for you to be able to do the firmware update of this thing. Okay, so I have the firmware files right here downloaded already, and I got these from a link from the FoMaKo support, and I'll try to include this in the description of the video, but the links can change, so not sure how long that's going to work. So let's just go ahead and extract the contents and see what the instructions have to say. Okay, so the first thing is this PDF here that if we open up, it should tell us what to do. First of all, the first step is to download the upgrade tool and firmware. So it says there's 3 cables in there, which for sure we did have. These are the tools, these are the cables. Now let's take a look at the connection diagram. Connect the power cord, connect the type C as shown, and then turn on the KC601 Pro. So that's what we're gonna do here. I already have the power hooked up. I am connecting the USB-C connection, and I am plugging it in now to my desktop computer. That is recording everything, and next step is to turn the unit on. So that is happening right now. Let's see if the computer notices anything. Turn on the unit and then open the file you downloaded. So then we have to go into the upgrade tool. So it's, according to the instructions, let's go into the upgrade tool and then look for the upgrade tool. Smart screen, I'm just going to say run anyway. Okay, and then it says, yep, that looks pretty much as it should. And then I'm going to hit login and I get file error. Okay, that's fine. It opened up the tool anyway. And so as shown below, connect status is green, indicating that the computer and switcher are connected. Open the file, and then we're going to browse to the file. So looks like it was trying to search the desktop when it shouldn't have been. So now that file is located. That is the bin file, the MCU v4.05. I'm gonna hit open, and then as you can see, it device connected successfully. Following the correct instructions, tick all the boxes and then hit upgrade. So this is where we're at. So I'm gonna check all the boxes by doing that, and then I am going to hit upgrade. Well, you can also just hit the read version, and that'll show you the old versions. I've already done the firmware update, or maybe I haven't. Looks like it's versions 5.09 on the bin file. And then I'm gonna hit upgrade, confirm upgrade. And now we have to wait. So this is tricky, and I might pause this because this takes a bit of time. This can take a few minutes, and I can hear my fan here actually going faster than it usually is. It's going to take some time for this to finish, so let's wait it. I might speed this part up. Okay, so just to show you, this is what's showing up on the switcher when it is going through the firmware update. So now it looks like it's rebooting in the middle, but in the screen on my computer, I can see that the font file is still working. Okay, so as soon as that finished, as soon as that went to 100%, the display came back on. Now, according to the documentation, as soon as this finishes, this is where we are. Once the upgrade is complete, unplug and restart the switcher. So, unplugging the USB right now. There we go, and turning the switcher off. Okay, now we have to change the cables. So I'm going to take this USB to the top one. Okay, now plug this in, turn off the switcher, connect the switcher, turn the switcher off. The instructions are worded in a way that connect the switcher to the USB cable and turn switcher off. Then go to the images and then go to the USB download tool. Important, now turn this on, and within 5 seconds press the update firmware button, which I think I did as soon as I heard the ding. And now it should be going through all of these screens here. So this all looks normal. and where it should end up at. And this is fine. The last time also it had started saying not responding, so that's I'm kind of expecting that. I hear it connecting and disconnecting, connecting and disconnecting. Okay, now, and as you see, exactly like how they have in the screenshot on the left side, it has finished with the exact same prompts. So this tells me that my firmware update was successful, and this is basically what needs to be done in order to get you the stream setting in the system. So congratulations, this is how you would update the firmware, and now you are good to go. Hey, I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I had, and I enjoyed making this video for you. And hopefully this video will make you more aware. It will help you make a good decision on whether this is the right product for you. And I know that for me, it's definitely it's exactly what I needed for my purposes. I live stream, I switch between cameras, I do events, weddings, things like that. So this is everything that I need is definitely in there. Your mileage may vary. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you out a lot.